Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Today is Theory Thursday, which means we will be discussing the theory side of magic, and in this case for today we will be discussing the theory side of booking a gig, doing a gig, wrapping the gig up. So everything that involves doing that gig that does not involve the magic tricks we will be talking about today, and they are very important from going from being a guy that can do tricks and do card moves and that sort of thing to being someone who can go entertain and come across as a professional at a gig. And these are the things, if you're just getting into bookings and actually doing this thing as a job or as a hobby that's paid, these things that you'll need to know. So let's get into the ins and outs of the theory behind the business of gigging. Okay, so I made a bit of footage which I'll show you throughout this video of me at a gig recently. We just filmed some bits. I'll chop in the bits that are relevant to what we did, and I'll show you a bit of magic as well, just to keep this a little bit more entertaining than me just yapping at you. But they're basically going to break this down into 7 parts that start from when you get the booking right through to once you're home from the gig, and it will take you through all of those things. The first part obviously is receiving the inquiry to do the bit of magic from the client. So you've just received a gig invite. You've just had someone say to you, dude, I need you to come along to my show and do some magic, or can you please give me a price for doing some magic? I've got this event. And it's a lovely moment. That's the moment when you go, yeah, like, you know, that's when the heart starts pumping. You think, yes, finally I'm going to be doing this in public. And it's scary for some people, exciting for others. I get it, just talking about it makes me excited. I love getting the gigs in. So let's talk about when you first get that gig, what you need to do. First of all, you need to relax. So let's say you've just had an inquiry like I did for this one that I did on Monday. It was on Instagram. It was an Instagram message, and they said, dude, can we have you come up? What's your prices for a corporate kind of recorder winter lodge, middle of London gig? Okay, now what used to happen when I got something like that, I'd hear the words like corporate, middle of London, and I'd be like cha-cha-ching and thinking about money. Think about how you're coming across, have a price structure in place and just stick to it. You know, it's a much easier way of doing things. So I said to him, first things first, the first message I sent back was, can you please email me all the details to my email address, which is I'll look forward to receiving those. So I took it away from the social media site, or if it had been a text message or whatever, and I put it straight around to my email address, which comes across more professional. Immediately we cleared up that mess of looking through Instagram messages and trying to sort of go backwards and forward or book a gig via text. Okay, so I like to do it by email first of all. That's where my invoices come from, that same email address, so it all will be coming from the same place. So now you've done this, you've got your email in, you can now start to look at this and see what's the best way that you can achieve the most impact on this gig. Because the thing is, most people will be like, great, I'll go along, what tricks do I do, how do I, you know, and so on and so on. What you really want to be doing is how long are you going to be there for, what type of magic you're going to be doing. So the one that he sent me, he said we've got some clients coming up to like a Christmas affair up in South Bank by the Thames. Really cool venue. Put to him, this is my 1 hour price, this is my 2 hour price. And very quickly, before we get into, I'm not going to recommend what your prices are, you can do a bit of market research for that. But I will always say with your pricing, have a price structure and stick to it. If you want to go up in price or you want to offer more to bump your price up, that's fine, but don't be sort of making up a price for everyone based upon just at the top of your head. I know that how much I charge for 2 hours, I know how much I charge for 1 hour, I know what my expenses will be in terms of travel, and that's that. So if somebody asks me, what do you charge, I can just say, there you are. And it took me a long time to get that. I used to always be really like, oh my god, I can't tell them it's like hundreds and hundreds of pounds to their face, like what if they say I'm too expensive? Okay, and that used to go through my mind, but then I realised it looked better to be the price you are and confident about that than kind of going, well, you know, I sometimes charge this, but you know, we can work out a deal. Before you even done anything, you're starting to sort of work out deals, and I was terrible for it for years and years and years, and I got into so much of a bother with it because I was always, different people were getting different prices, and I had no real structure of how to get paid and stuff, and it just got me into a load of mess. So have a price, have a payment structure, and have it all set. This, you know, if you go to a car dealership, they will say this is what you pay now, this is when you pay the rest of it, and then you get your car. It is what it is, and the same should be for you. Okay, so you've now given your prices. These are my prices for 1 hour, this is my price for 2 hours. Do you need close-up walk around? Is it going to be a sat-down meal? You know, get the environment off the booker as well, so you know what you're actually quoting for. So in this case, it was a stand-up like cocktail affair. Well, cider. It was recorded cider, so a cider. Everyone drinking cider, and it would just be a walk-around gig. So I knew there wasn't going to be tables with plates and food and whatnot. So that was fine, because I don't like working during the dinner anyway. It's just obviously people are having dinner, and so none of that was there. So I knew straight away, it's great, I'm just going to be walking about doing magic. So I asked how many people would be there. I offered my 1 hour and 2 hour service, and invariably people go for the 2 hours because it's better value for money than 1 hour, and you get, you know, the best impact with 2 hours. I think 1 hour is not quite enough. So with that in mind, it was quite straightforward. I said, here's my price, I'm available on this date, here's my price, here's my price. To secure the date, you'll need a £50 booking. The rest of the remaining balance on the invoice will be, there'll be a date on the invoice which will tell you when that needs to be paid by. And it was all very, very clear and straightforward, and as a result, the booking was made, you know. Once that stuff's done and the invoice is paid and everything else, you can then sort of put that business side of stuff and start enjoying I'm about to do a gig again. But just, it takes like an hour, you know, between the back and forwards to get all that done and in place. I recommend getting yourself an invoicing app. I use Invoice to Go because I don't do as many gigs as I used to. It's more of a paid hobby now, so I just do it on there. Gigio is the best tool if you're going to be doing this full time or sort of busy as a part-time. Makes everything look so professional and nice. But I use Invoice to Go. There are 100 different apps, I'm sure, that do invoicing. But as long as you've got a nice template, it looks nice, your details are on there, and it's all set up nice, it will be great because you can just put their details into that template, fire it off with whatever details, whether it's PayPal or bank account. They can send back their deposit. It's all secure, it goes into your diary. They've got confirmation, they're happy, they've booked the date, and the booking is done. Okay, so really important to get that process done out of the way professionally on your emails, not on social media. Again, I'm guilty of all of this. The reason I'm telling you this is that I've done, you know, gigs via text message and gigs via, you know, Facebook and Instagram and stuff. Trust me, get your email set up, get your invoice app set up, get your price structure in place, and just stick to it. You know, if you want to do a charity gig, do it for free. I always do full price or nothing. That's now my moving forward. That's my advice. Do it for full price or do it for nothing. And there you go. That is the opening sequence to doing this gig. Now, bear in mind, you're not even there yet, and you're already having to put in place your routine for booking these gigs, and it makes things a lot easier. You've got it all in place. All right, so that's that done. Congratulations. You can start enjoying the gig now. Okay, so number 2, communicating with the booker leading up to the event. You can be a bit more relaxed now in your communication, and just keep in touch. You know, if you get a booking that's like 3 months away, you know, just once a month, maybe drop them a little line saying, I hope things are going well with the, you know, the organisation's going well with the gig and we're looking forward to it, and just lets them know that you haven't taken their deposit and forgotten about them. Again, I'm really, really disorganised, and over the years I've upset a couple of people where I've just, you know, not done the system properly. So I'm trying to get you guys to not muck up from my mistakes. So just keep in touch, let them know you're looking forward to the event, and then, you know, the day before and the week before, just again look forward to seeing you there. What time is good, which leads on to the number 3, arriving early. Okay, so number 3, you're now on the day of the gig, you're there. I recommend, because the money you'll get from a gig is similar to, you know, when you start out, and certainly will exceed the money you'll get for a day's work. So don't see it as 2 hours work, see it as a day's work. So you need to be preparing your case, getting your whatever outfit you're wearing ironed, looking smart, and then get into the venue early. And again, I can't emphasize enough how much I'm asking you to learn from my mistakes. Get to the event early, have a look around, get an idea of the venue so you make sure you can park, see the booker before you're supposed to start, and have a little chat with them. Now what I do when I arrived at this gig on Monday, I saw Tim, who was the guy who booked me, and I said, I'm here for 2 hours of work, but I'm probably going to be here for 3 hours because it's such a relaxed, informal atmosphere, and it's just going to be going on till sort of 10 or 11, which is way past when I'm finishing. It'll be nice for me not to have to just sort of bug people and go around and fill up my 2 hours. It'd be quite nice just to do a bit, come away, let it marinate, come back in, do a bit more. And he really liked that idea. He could have said, no, we've got something else happening, just do your 2 hours and get round, which would have been fine. That's what the conversation's for. But he quite liked the idea of just sort of coming in, coming away, coming back, doing a little bit, and it not being sort of pestering. It was kind of relaxed and cool, and people were intrigued about it, but not always able to find me, which was great, because by the time I did approach them, they were now like excited about the fact they're going to see this magician they've been hearing about, because other people have been talking about him. So just try and sort of have a chat, and that's how I like to work. I like to do a bit extra time and slow down the pace of the gig rather than running around getting everyone done. Just have a communication with them, arrive early to allow you to do that, and be ready to start your gig on time. Okay, so on to number 4 now, which is dynamics and scoping out the room. So you have taken the booking, you've handled it professionally, you've kept in touch, you've arrived early, you've communicated with the booker, he's ready, he's happy, you let him know, you get on with your evening. I am, I'm very low maintenance, I will walk it round. Let me know who the boss is and the boss's boss are, I'll make sure I get them and do a real nice set. You've done all that communicating, you're now, it's showtime, you're about to start. So we're looking at dynamics. Now what I do about dynamics is I won't just, when I'm ready to start, just go run towards the first group that I can find. I like to scope the room out and check out the dynamics of people who I think will react well, who I think won't react well, but will warm up, who I think are in very in-depth conversations, maybe talking a bit of business, they don't want to be interrupted, and who have already gone on to the anecdotal stage. So that's what I call a shift in the dynamic, where you go from arriving, everyone's saying hello, how you doing, buying a drink, taking coats off, you want to leave them well alone at that point. Okay, this is why I like to be there for 3 hours but work 2 hours. It gives you time to give people space. So they're arriving, they're getting their first drink, how you been, not seen you in ages, chat. Let those people have that moment just to kind of say hello, and then you can just be walking around, you can have your cards in your hand shuffling, you can have maybe a drink and just be part of the evening, but just walk around and take that in, and you'll start to see when people change from the hello and the in-depth stuff to when it becomes anecdotal. People are just starting to tell stories about their week, or do you remember last time we were together, and they start sort of, you see people laughing, and when that starts to happen, you're now sort of, that's when they're ready for you to come in and introduce yourself. So take 5 minutes, just walk around, have a little look, and you'll see straight away when this is the case, where some people are in depth. Because I used to say to everyone, like, hey, I'm the magician, I wonder if I could show you a bit of magic, and they'd be like, I haven't seen this guy in 10 years, is it alright if I just, and oh cool, sorry. And I wanted to stop that happening, so I've learned how to spot when that's the case, or when somebody is in depth in their chat. So just bear that in mind, give yourself 5-10 minutes just to walk around, scope it out, and then you will also notice groups of people will start to form, which is great, because I look for groups of 5 or 6 people to start with, because what I don't want to do when I start a room is start with the 2 people that are over there that are really quiet and have no impact with your first trick. I want to go to the nucleus of everywhere. You know, if the room is this big, I want to go find a group of 6 people right in the middle, and then I want to get cracking, you know, so I can, their laughter will be like, whoa, what's going on? Whereas if 2 people go, wow, that was cool, over there, nobody else knows about it, it's not great. So try and find a group that suits your style. If you start with 2 people in your trick, your favourite opening trick, find 2 people right in the middle of the room, you know, or find a group of 4 people and choose 2 of them. Don't go to periphery because it's easy. Get involved. The other way you can get around this obviously is to have the booker announce that you are about to go round. It doesn't always work, and I find it a bit cringy, but sometimes at weddings and stuff they like to say, you know, I'm doing after the speeches, and during the speech I'll say, and this guy will be coming around to entertain you. That also helps to build that intrigue before you start. There are certain situations that works, other times you're just like, oh, okay. But it does help. Again, everyone now is expecting you haven't got to introduce yourself over and over and over again. So just bear those things in mind. Either have somebody introduce you if the situation is right, get right in the centre there, and it will spread like a sonic boom, like a wave. People who are looking over, seeing what's going on, and then you're in and up and running. I want to talk about the dynamics of a group when you approach them. Okay, so when you approach a group, you are essentially encroaching into their space. That's what you're doing. They have a dynamic going on, they're all chatting, you are going to interrupt that, and then immediately within 10 or 20 seconds you need to make that your space that they are now invited into. Just temporarily, you're just borrowing the space, but you need to swap that dynamic round so that they are there for you, and then when you're finished you give them back their dynamic and they can close that circle back up and carry on as they were. That's what you're aiming to achieve, and this is where hecklers come in and people that make things difficult for you, which we'll get to in a second, but that's generally the reason it happens most of the time. So what I try and do when I approach a group is I don't go in like super strong, like, you know, hey, opening a flame wallet and like, oh, closing it up and stuff. You know, I go in with a strong, confident personality. I still downplay myself, but you know, my line is something along the lines of, how you doing? Sorry, I interrupt people for a living. I'm the magic bloke. You know, that's the style that I go in with. You know, I'm not like, hi, I'm the magician. I'm here to entertain you guys. Can I just have your time for just a minute? Doesn't suit me. Suits other people. Use your own style, but go in confident, go in strong. You know, and I like to go in under the radar, knowing that the stuff I'm going to show them is going to hit really hard. But I don't want to, you know, go in all flat. I try and go in on the same level as they are, and I don't mean that as in stature. I mean as in terms of the conversation they're having. So if there's people who are having a real raucous conversation in a pub, I won't go in and go, guys, I would like to show you some magic. You're like, it's not going to work. You just look like, you know, it's too much of a change. Where you can go in on the same level's not the right word, on the same mindset, the same vibe. Vibe is the right word. You go in the same vibe they're in. They're much more willing to accept you into the group, and then you can, I say, flip the dynamic, have them all watch you, make it your group, 4 or 5 minutes, and then flip it and give it back and say thank you very much. And it's good fun, you know, trying to, it's not quite being a chameleon, but it's certainly adapting to your environment. You know, I don't have one line that I open every group with, because it's just madness to think that one line can accommodate for so many different types of people. Just utter madness. I'm certainly myself once I get going. My act will be my act once I get going, but just to get that in, you know, think about the vibe that you're approaching and try and be on the same wavelength to an extent, you know. What trick do you do when you start? That is a different video altogether. I like to do something that involves lots of people, just because it makes for a much more a dynamic effect to open with. I don't want to open with one card, but I've done this on a different video, so I'm not going to go over it again. On my wedding video on which tricks I do at a wedding, I covered this idea of stating that I'm not going to do what you're expecting me to do, break the cliche, and then do something they're not expecting. So I say along the lines of, you've seen magic before, like normally you pick a card, I find it, nobody cares, or nobody gives a shit. Again, depends on where I am, right? and everyone does that thing of, huh, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. What are you going to do to pick a card, find it? No, let's make it much more interesting. And you could say something like, you name the card, just write your name on it, I'll do some magic with it and do an ambitious card, or we'll take out 4 or 5 cards instead, make it much more interesting. It separates you from what their cliche of, which is pick a card, find it. You certainly don't want to open with pick a card, find it, because that's what they're expecting to see. So have a nice dynamic routine. Again, that video will tell you all you need to know about my thoughts on opening tricks and the psychology behind it.
A little bit back is not good. So listen, what would normally happen is you pick a card, I find it, and then no one will care because it's like the same trick every season, right? So take 2 cards.
Challenge.
And listen, don't be influenced by me, it's your choice, alright? So have a shot. Wife is shot, I don't know if I should have the drink. It's a free bar, right?
It's a free bar, come back in half an hour when I can't see.
Good. Take a second, remember the cards, and you get, oh, you're eating, you get 2 as well.
No, it's a
Take it, Joel.
I've got a little method if it helps you remember.
Oh, right, you're just going to show me in a minute, yeah?
Just look at them again, it really helps. Keep looking at them, also helps. Yeah, don't do this. I see people all the time, they have a quick look and go, like, it's not a challenge.
I've got it,
You got yours, you know what they are? I've got 2 kids. One of them is my favourite. I don't tell the other one, it makes me cry. It's just honesty. But that's information you keep in your head as well. Make one of those cards your favourite, and don't tell the other one. There'll be tears. It's not good. You good? You got it? You got it? Say stop. Stop. Chuck them in. Together. Don't show favourites. Yours are going to go in separately, one at a time. In any order. Now this, sometimes my son is a bit of a shit and I change my mind and like go a bit just for an hour. If you want to change your mind, you can. It's cool, right? So say stop. Start with the first one in either one. Tough one this one. The game is very simple. I'm not going to find all 4 cards, mainly because it's much more difficult. I'm going to find the one that you chose as your favourite. Alright? Let's go again. You wouldn't be yours back, but I love your enthusiasm. You're so involved, it's great, it's great. So the idea very simply, I will cut your card to the top. It'll be your hello. His feet are up. Okay, what's your name? What's your name?
Jamie.
Maybe you made a name up. Is it actually Jamie?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
When they lie, it's always Bob in fairness. So Jamie's got right. So look, why cut the cards here? That'll bring your card, your favourite one, to the top of the deck. Yep, I've got it. Which one was your favourite?
3 of hearts.
I know, right? Because I've got it to the top, I promise. It's a thing. Right? Hold your hand out. Oh, you got pocket. Stay there perfect. All right, yours, you put them in separately. Much more difficult. Hold your hand out. If I cut the cards off your hand, that will bring your card to the top. What was your favourite?
9 and a half.
But there is a flaw to this trick. The flaw to the trick is that I shuffled the cards when they went back in. Maybe I just knew where they were, like with some magic-y stuff.
Oh, they're all 3 of hearts.
That'll be amazing, yeah, that'll be makes her 9 and a half quite impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, and the fact you had 2 cards, which means...
Oh, yeah.
But that tells me
I'll take that back, yeah.
No, that tells me they were both 3s, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Yeah, you just told me without telling me. Also, I was flat.
It was, yeah.
It was a club, it was a 3 o'clock,
Yes, it was.
Damn it, I was so close. That would have Devon Brown the shit. You've been like, no way. Yours, can you shuffle that?
Not really.
Just funny to watch.
I'm very lame at it.
Humour in. In fairness, you were right. But listen, if I find the other one, your least favourite card, from a shuffled deck, how many seconds have I got? 4. Thanks. Count the 4. 1,
2, 3, 4.
I've got them both in the pocket. Not my pocket, your pocket. What was your other one? 3 of spades, right? You take it out.
Yeah.
No, you can spray with grown ups, it's fine, yeah.
Sorry.
How many magicians have you seen today?
Oh my word.
I was taking them. 3 of spades,
Wait, that was my other one.
I know, I've seen this trick. I knew where it was going. You're 9 and a half, what was the other one?
3 of spades, diamonds.
Better say no, it wasn't. They were all 3s, but 3 of diamonds. Look in your 9 now, look in your pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 2 of diamonds, you were close. Bless you, little heart. You tried though,
I just wanted to try.
It's a low diamond, I'm in the ballpark, is that good? One last thing then, that's me.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
So you're doing your set. How do you finish the set off? How do you build the routine so you know when to finish? I have 2 theories on this, and they're based on different laps. I call them laps because I go around the room. That's how I go. So if there was 40 people, I went around 3 times just to, and everyone on the first lap saw stuff from my A set, which is like maybe 4 or 5 tricks. I just repeated rounds. I went around the room, knowing I'm going back again to do my B set, which then suddenly becomes a little bit more jazzy, which is reaching for different pockets, trying stuff out. And then my C set, when I go in the 3rd time, is just literally finding the people I've got on best with and doing some really, really cool stuff that might be a little bit more, take a bit more time or be a bit more set up. The last lap will be things like ESP or Technicolor and just stuff where I can get rid of the bits in my pocket and just have one particular trick set up just because those people are awesome. Or to the boss, that sort of thing. So my A set, when I approach a group, is it always finishes with V deck or a deck vanish. It's always about the deck disappearing at the end of the routine, and it being the perfect way to round up a set. If I do a thing and all the cards vanish out of the box and I give you your signed card, I'm like, that's the end of those. It's a perfect way of saying thanks for your time, and it's a beautiful trick to end on.
Okay, what normally happens is you choose it, I find it, nobody cares, right? It's the same trick that everyone knows, so make it a bit more interesting. Which card would you like? I'm not mindful, I just made this right.
What are you thinking about? Just think of a card.
I can't do it for real. Yeah, sure, I've got the trick, it gets better, don't worry. Could you hold your drink for a second? And just write your name on the ace, nice and big. M-I. Turns out it's not his name, you're like, damn it. You can show the camera as well so you can see what you've written.
That's your name.
Did you write it? Let's have a look. Yeah, show me. It's like
see it all?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. If I had is that actually your name?
No, it's his surname.
Oh, I see. Nicely done. So if I had another ace of spades, it won't look like that.
No.
Your handwriting and the name I wouldn't have known you to use. Yeah. Good. All right. You have a drink back now. Can you click your fingers? Just yes would have been fine.
Yeah.
Lovely work, mate. Look, the game's very simple. When I say snap, you snap.
Yeah.
Good man. All right. If I put the ace about halfway down and it jumped back to the top, would you be impressed?
Yeah, I'd be impressed.
I can't. It's in the. I just told you that, right? It's physics. There are cards in the way. But look, snap your fingers. When you snap, it will jump. That's the basic.
Hey,
But maybe I cheat you, right? So
I like that.
I'll make it fair. It goes back in. Snap again. Every time you snap, it will jump. Even when the snap's rubbish like that, it doesn't matter, right?
Man.
But the point being, there's a logical part of your brain that says he's not putting that in the middle. There must be a thing he's doing. So I'll make it really, really fair. 100%. This is for you. Is that your card?
Yeah.
Wrong. My card. It's your name, right? You gotta have the card. It's your handwriting is the point, right? So I can't kind of like, if I leave it poking out, there's a trust moment. You either decide I'm leaving it sticking out or I've already sneaked it up. That's what you, so I really didn't sneak it up. It goes in fair and square. Just snap again. Just want it to jump right back.
No, I like it.
My mum threw me out at this point, right? She hated it. So if I bend it across cuthbert there, right? When it goes in the middle, you get this what's called a crimp.
Yeah.
So you can see it real easy now, right? Just snap one last time. You'll see the bend. Look.
Oh,
The name right back on top.
right.
That's your right. Right?
It is, yeah.
But there is a, well, maybe I cheated a smidge. He's that face of whatever, true. I've got to make it fair, right? So let's make it really
Just
interesting.
taking pictures of you.
Don't you ruin 2-act, get out of it.
Because I'm happy rapping.
She made learning really hard work. What's your name? All you got to do is say the word stop. Take the cup, want to go further? Not as friends, you have it. Don't look at it. If you look at it, I get your hair, you get mine. You don't want that, right? So just
Actually, yeah. No.
yeah. Nobody wants this hairline. It's like, I've got a 5 minutes. So this is your name but your card, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to share out the goods and hold your hand out. Hold your hand out. This bit up here has got your name on it. So if I tear those off, squeeze Cuthbert, and you can squeeze the ace if you choose the ace. Turn your hand over. If I try and get in there, which I'm going to, and you catch me doing it, which you won't, but if you do, you can punch me in the face. If you don't want it, just punch him. Doesn't matter, right? As long as someone gets in. Yeah. But don't let me in there. Now it's safe. What do you have? Which one did you pick? Let's have a look.
The best one was that gone away.
10 of hearts. You picked it up like you were hoping it was going to be the ace. It's physically impossible. You were holding this when I showed them the ace, right? So look, I can do it face up or face down. How do you want to do it? Face up or face down?
Face up.
So when it face up, you see it change into your card, right? That's the moment you see it happen.
That's mental.
Only mental if your 10 of hearts landed in your hand. Have a look.
That's awesome.
I'll get rid of those, that's a litter. Yeah, that's...
But you've gone for a few cards tonight.
I've just started, so not too bad.
Very
That's
good.
yours, eBay that.
Very good.
No, fake. I will shake your hand, but I'm cheating, so hold your hand up. Squeeze those quickly, turn your hand over, so now I can...
Well done.
Listen,
I
when
like
you find
that
a
a lot.
bin,
That's awesome, man.
It'll save you a job. Just it. Have we met, ever? Have we met before? Good, it would have been awkward, I've forgotten. We haven't, right? It's so they know we haven't set this up.
No.
That's an original card, right? Do you ever get deja vu? It's a feeling, right? It's more of a In here, look. I've had this for ages. No, I've had it for ages. No, in here, I've had this. Just wondered if you had
Oh no!
seen it before, right?
That's awesome!
Yeah. I'm checking for the other one. Yeah, no, have a look. While he's checking, and while I was doing this wallet thing, you didn't like sneak a bit out. I think she did. She was a nice one. So I'm going to teach you a trick now. Alright, all you got to do.
Man, that is ridiculous!
You got the ace kept it? Yeah, good man. Alright, so listen.
He knew I was doing a keep, man.
I can hear, look at his ears, I hear everything, right? So listen, I'm going to teach you a trick. All you got to do is like this. The hardest bit is catching all the bits. Look, that's it, you got them right now. Just rub them like this. You'll notice they start moving around less independently and more as a group. It's because they're fixing back together, look. They're not broken anymore.
Mate, what is
Check it, yes, 10 of hearts, right? I think that was a card you
You've done this for a while, haven't you?
Once
That is
or twice, yeah.
insane, man.
But I feel like
So good.
I feel like I need to take you in on a little secret. Just grab your drink. Oh, you still got your hands free. We're not going to strike you. I can't afford to. Hold on to this for a second. You'll notice I've made a little bit of a change to the box. I've taken the cards out, obviously, but I've also, you've got your thumb in it. I cut a massive hole in the front of the box, right?
Yeah.
The idea is like, oh, sorry, dude. I can cheat and steal cards out of there. That's the idea of the whole thing.
like
Thank you. Yeah. Check. Open the lid. The real hole. You insert joke here. Exactly right. Yeah.
filthy mind on it.
No, in fairness, I was thinking the same thing. I said put your fingers in the box. What was going to happen, right? So look. Well, you can see there's a hole in the thing, right? If I put the whole deck back in the box, right, I take your card and I add it to the others. What I'm now left with is a deck of cards where I can only cheat here.
Yeah.
Agreed? Hold out your hand for me. Now this hand. Look, if I put these here like this, if I made your couple of cards disappear from the box and land in my pocket, it'd be alright, but there's a hole in the box, right? Yeah. So what if I made the whole pack vanish, apart from his card?
No.
Not only that, you were for the box getting lighter as they vanish.
Oh my god!
Weird, isn't it? Yeah, hold on. Just a couple, hold those. I'll get the rest out, watch this, look.
No way!
No, the weird thing, I'll prove it to you, look, they really are.
Oh my
God.
days.
There's only one in
That
there.
is immense. Wow.
Thanks very much, man.
That is awesome.
Thanks very much for your help.
So good, man. That is
That's yours, bud.
Mate, that is.
No, I just want to shake your hand. They're really good for wobbly chairs. Hold it back up.
What's your name?
Richard. It's long for Dick, yeah. I'm a decorator, I'm just doing a favour for a mate, so.
No, it's not. You just do this on the side.
A little bit, yeah.
But by vanishing something at the end of your routine, or doing something in like a storytelling way, so like stand-up Monty is a great example of this, because it's very clear that you're going to show them the psychology of how these scam artists do it, and you show them the whole routine, and then you finish it, and that is why you would owe me 30 quid, but don't play the game, it's a scam, you can't win.
You need to build a crowd to make money, right? So scooch it. So, the first thing they do, this is about the 3-card Monty, find the lady. You ever played it? Don't. If you ever see a guy doing it, it's a hustle, you can't win. I want to show you the psychology. So let's say they need to build a crowd. They'll let someone win. That'll be you for now, right? Say you stop and look interested. I'll say, follow the 2. That's the money card. Keep your eye on it. Where's the 2? Very good, you win £1, right? And they go, oh, that's good. And I'll let you win a couple of quid, it builds a crowd, right? But there has to be some jeopardy to it. So I put what's called a distractor card. Don't look at this one, even when I move it about, the 2 is where you're... Hold out your hand for me. If I mix them up, face up, like this, right? And I do this move. It's hard to tell, right? But it's 50-50, so listen, just show our hands, who thinks it's here? Genuinely, who thinks it's here? Yeah? Someone, you must think it's one of the 2, right? I think so. Yeah, so point is, all this isn't the move to make money, this is called splitting the crowd. Half of you will be right. And that half will feel like they've beaten the other half and me. So who said it was here? Nice job. So happy, he almost smiled, he loved it, right? Yeah. So, but the point being, he's now that I've figured this out, yeah? He thinks he's got it, I've got it. So I want you to get confident. Who else said up here, anyone? Yeah, so now you are going to bet your money more likely. You guys that bet down here, and I need to now convince you. So what I do is this. I've got to make sure that you can't win like every time like that. So I put another one in. It's what I call 3 card. The odds are against you winning, right? Remember to keep an eye on the 2. That's the plan. But if I leave it in the middle, face up like this, and mix them up, where's the 2? It's in the middle, right? So no, everyone thinks they've got the hang of this game. I haven't even started yet, but you're all like confident. It might have cost me like £4 or something. So here's the first move. Hold your hand out. If I put the 2 on your hand, did you see it go? No, I snuck it over here. Did you see it go? Right? It's a cool move, right? Yeah, exactly. So now they go, hey. So I'll do it again. I'll leave you with a 9 and do that same move as earlier. Do you remember when I did this? If I just turn the 2 over, you know where the 2 is now, right? On your hand. Yeah, no, it is, right? And I'll start. So at this point now, right? Yeah, that's the face people pull. And people stop wanting to play at this point. It looks like I'm now a hustler and I'm doing the moves. So this great reverse psychology. They do this. And they put another one in. And everyone goes, nah, sod that, too many, right? So I say, hang on, just for you, we'll use 2 again. It's not just for you. I'm just saying that so you think I'm your mate. Yeah, as in this scam. I go, look, if I leave a 2 on your hand and put this in my pocket, and the 2 really is here, I'm just building trust. Because you don't trust me at all, right? But I've just shown you that what I say really happens, right? But if I said to you, always bet hand, and you can't lose, you wouldn't believe me, right? Because I've been taking your money up till now. So if I said, look, if I leave a 9 on your hand, would you bet 2 on your hand now? Of course you wouldn't, but I told you, always bet here, you'll win, I've got your back, right? Yeah, I know, it's fine. So now you learned to trust me. If I put the 9 here, would you bet 2 on your hand now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, we're mates, but I've shown you how to win. So now, like, I've got the 2s down here, the 9s I snuck up into my pocket. Is a very good. But I did that for you, so you could win. Now you know where to bet now. But I say this like this, so they don't know the secret. You know only here. There's 3 9s and 3 2s. Okay. If I leave the 2s, put your other hand like this if you want. But yeah, put your hand on top. So I can't cheat, Clay, with an eye, right? So that you can see. Where do you always have to bet? Hand. And that's when I do the move. You're going to put like 50 quid on that because you're so sure of it. I've got the 2s now, right? You get the 9s, yeah. You actually owe me 30 quid. And listen, while you're busy losing at that, my friend's behind you nicking stuff out of your bags.
Probably.
I haven't got any friends in real life, don't panic. But as I say, in the game it would be, so don't even stop and watch because it's a horrible game, you can't win. But thanks for playing, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, amazing.
That's never worked, I'm going to leave it at that, yeah.
It's such a clean moment to then move on. So just look for effects that have that very clear ending and finish with those in your routine, you know. Sometimes I just do stand up Monty to a group, but then I'll move on because it's just such a lovely set and it really plays perfectly on its own. I'll just do that one thing. So just bear that in mind. It's either, you'll know which, they're called closers for a reason. It's just a way of closing a group out. So when you're looking at reviews and stuff, if someone says this isn't an opener, this isn't a closer, they're saying about leaving, finishing a group and starting a group. It's not about opening and closing the stage show. It's about what you do as your first trick and what you do as your last trick, or sometimes your only trick. I often use a closer on its own just because maybe we've got to get round or it's just too good. You don't want to follow anything with it, So keep that in mind when you're opening and closing, and just be bold, finish the thing. So thank you very much. Listen, and I've got a little line when people clap. I often say, no, don't clap. I've got to go. Oh, now they've seen. I've got the magic over there as well now, and it's a nice way of closing And they laugh, you know. Again, it's that thing of not taking yourself too seriously. But as they start clapping, I'm like, shh, I don't want to do it. Now I've got to work. Yeah, I'll go in, you know. And it's that sort of idea of just being playful, and that line really does go down really, really well.
Yeah, that dude.
That is brilliant.
Good. Thanks.
That is brilliant.
I feel like you. No, don't clap. They'll expect magic over there, and I probably don't. I'll fly under the radar if I can. Yeah.
So yeah, open and close with strong tricks that have a very clear beginning and a beginning of an end to the beginning. Open with an open, close with a close. That makes more sense. Don't do rubbish tricks to close your act. Stop talking. All right, very quickly, trick selection at a gig. This isn't theory, but the ABC thing I do with my act, my A set, I know everything in every pocket, how to do it perfectly. I know it's a strong trick and I can reach in anywhere. And I tend to not jazz as much on my first lap round. I do nice, strong, solid 6-card, ambitious card, stand-up Monty, invisible deck, stuff like that. Like really strong commercial routines on my first lap where I've got my lines down. I can do it without thinking, so it gives me a lot of time to interact and be myself and focus on people. So when you go for your second lap, you should know everyone. Everyone knows what you do, they know your name, so you should be able to then get away with doing a little bit more of a set piece, you know, that's a one-off and stuff like that. So just with your trick selection, I'm not going to tell you which tricks to do, but certainly have your strong routine, practice, solid stuff on the first lap, and then on the second lap you can have a bit more fun with the tables, and you know, stop bringing out sponge balls and things that would be quite cliche the first time, but this, you know, when you bring them out in the second lap, people are cool with it because they've seen you do the really good stuff. And then on your third lap, just have fun with the people that you like. That's what I always say. The third lap, only people that have earned the right to see magic on the third lap, see magic on the third lap by being nice to me on the way around. So if you're watching in your booking or you're going to be at a wedding I'm at, be nice on the first 2 laps and you'll see more magic. Or if you're tired of magic, don't be so nice on the second lap and I'll avoid you on the third. Alright guys, that's really bad advice. Okay, so now let's just do a quick overview of this. You've gone from receiving a booking, making it into your email rather than anywhere else, so you've got this very clear, precise place to book. You've sent your invoice out, you've received your deposit, and then whichever business option you take, whether it's to do the balance to be paid on the day or to be a week after, whatever it is, you've received all the payments and things that are going to happen before the booking starts. You get there early, you speak to the client, you scope out the place, you park, you fresh, you go to vape or whatever you do, and you're ready to go. You've done the gig, you've scoped it out, you've had a look around, looked at the dynamics of the people, you've allowed yourself time to do that without looking like you're not working, because you explained to the booker beforehand that this is what you'll do. You know, you'll be here for 3 hours or 2.5 hours, despite the fact you're working for 2. It gives you time to evaluate where it's best to work and all that sort of stuff. You then, once you've done your evaluating, you go in, you hit, and then you start picking people off and going to tables and doing your gig. You're doing good, strong openers that you know. You're using closers that give you the opportunity to finish the table, like deck vanishes, or using lines like the clap line. So you're now doing all this cool stuff. You're now gigging as a magician should. What's next? What comes after the gig finishes? Your time is up. Now, whether you do a bit of extra, which often happens, I would highly recommend it. It's where you get to give out your card the most. It's where most of the bookings come from, when you just hang about as you're leave. You don't leave dead on the moment you're due to finish. 8 till 10 o'clock, out the door. You know, unless something obviously, you know, like starts like a big set of speeches or a really loud band or something, you know, try and stick around. Just do a little bit for the boss, or maybe the boss asked you to show his wife because she didn't see it, or the bride has been too busy taking photographs. Just allow that to happen. Just have the sort of seat set on you so you're ready just to do some really cool stuff that you know, you may not have done on the way around, but you really like doing, but it's a bit more jazzy and a bit more informal. All that stuff has happened. So you've done all that stuff now, you've come to the end of your gig. Find the booker, make sure you shake their hand, say thank you very much, I've had a wonderful time. I will be in touch in a day or so just to, you know, check things went fine, and to send your, you know, fully paid invoice receipt over, or whatever it is, you know, like do a follow-up. Don't just forget about this client the moment that they are the booking is over, you know, because that'll really resound well with the client. You know, when they message you and say, you know, you were brilliant, our guests loved you, it gives you a great feeling, right? So if you message them and say, I do a lot of events, but this was a beautiful event, really well organised, it looked stunning, the music was great, the layout was perfect, thank you so much for having me there. Those things are important to a booker as well, and it will make the difference between you and somebody who just disappears once they've got their money and the job's done. So follow up afterwards, and then you have created a relationship with that client. You know, if you're the sort of person who's going to send out Christmas cards from your company, put them on the database, all that sort of stuff, and you will be remembered, and that's how you cultivate clients and have repeat bookings. After you've done all of that, all you've got to worry about is your tricks and make sure they work. So there's a lot more to do in this full time, but it is something that will become like, it all happens in stage and with all at once, and it certainly becomes easier the more you do it. So guys, good luck. If you've got any questions, this is very much a question and answer comment section, okay? So I'll keep an eye on the comments. Any questions you've got regarding something that I may have missed, or a worry that you have about gigs, put it in there and I will give as in-depth an answer as I can, because I can't really cover everything in this. It's always like a 30-minute video. And good luck. Let me know also if you use this video and it's helped in any way towards your taking bookings. Please let me know in the comments as well. It'd be really, really cool to know that this is hopefully doing some help, because there's no ads, there's no money. This is just for you guys to learn your way and learn from the stuff that I should have done right all those years ago. Alright guys, as you know, the Patreon page is a way of supporting this channel. It's just $1 a month. For that you get access to the Discord, which is a community which is really building really, really nicely, for all of the magicians on there, helping each other out, supporting each other. You also get one tutorial video from me a month, plus I'll be on there giving you exclusive sort of early access to videos before they go onto YouTube. And I'm always about, I'll pop in and say hello, so you can ask me stuff on that. I've had Skype conversations with people, half an hour, 1 hour, talking about helping them. In fact, this video I'm making today was based upon a Skype call I had with one of my Discord guys. So bear that in mind, that's in the link below. You're going to follow me on Instagram, it's @FallerGuy. I give you all a heads up for the live streams before they happen. And I chuck a few cool tricks on there that I don't put on YouTube. Alright, so check me out on there. Head over to Patreon if you can. If not, see you at the next one. Big love. Peace out.